and we came up with the theme is the pursuit of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Like if you asked me what my it was,
What is it, Manny?
my it,
Yes.
it's different for you.
Possibly, most
And
likely.
For me, it was fear. I think it's a colossal fail because nobody says you're a business person. We say you're a real estate broker or a real estate agent. Go out there and get your business cards and go sell real estate. You can be a 1 year, 2 year wonder, but to be in the business 2 decades, 3 decades, 4, it takes a lot. And it takes a lot from you. Jamie, it's good to be back and it's good to be here with you. I've been away from podcasting for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I did it initially as a measure of fun.
Okay.
And Candida at the office persuaded me to, Manny, you have so much experience, why don't you go out there and blah, blah.
Absolutely.
And I did a few, and we had a theme. I even got my coffee mug, and it's coffee beans and real estate. And coffee beans is one of the first talks that I have with newcomers to the business, like
Okay.
rookies. Coffee beans in real estate, associating coffee shops with business owners and trying to have agents mentalize that being a realtor is also a business owner.
So was that something that you did then with them? Like you had a coffee and you sat down with them after they became real estate agents or they joined your brokerage? That was the beginning of the conversation?
That's the first talk they have with me is coffee beans. And I present them a business plan and we go over what would you do if you're a coffee shop owner, right? Like, so coffee shop owner has hours of operation. Maybe they close on Mondays. And they start at 7 serving their lattes, cappuccinos. What is it that you sell? Are you a Starbucks? Are you a Timmy's? What is your business model?
The way you present yourself, I guess.
Everything.
Everything, eh?
Business mindset. Coffee shop owner starts at 7, but they're in the shop at 5:30 in the morning, filling the dispensers with sugars, fluids, napkins, cleaning the counters, working on their business.
So all the prep work.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
As a business owner.
Any business, by the way.
But realtors don't really, any business, but realtors don't really define what we do as a business.
But why is that? Why is that? I know we're getting into the whole conversation right away, but I'm curious.
Oh, I think, look, it's multifaceted. Institutional misrepresentation. And maybe not deliberate, but RICO has been doing the education or responsible for the curriculum, and they've failed, and it's documented they failed miserably in instructing our newcomers into the industry recently. But I think it's a colossal fail because nobody says you're a business person. We say you're a real estate broker or a real estate agent. Go out there and get your business cards and go sell real estate.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing they have to do is obtain an HST number from the federal government. And then they sign an independent contractor with me, the broker. So all those two components define them as business people.
That's being a business.
But they haven't heard those terms up until then. What do you want to do? I want to be a real estate agent. What's that look like? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to post something on TikTok. I was going to say Tic-Tac. I'm going to post something on TikTok.
You wouldn't be the first one, trust me.
And I'm going to be great. That aside, they're not taught to be business people. And then they're independent contractors, so I can't force them to come in and punch a clock.
Mm-hmm.
But I will challenge them at that meeting. I said, look, you treat this business as a business, and you give yourself 40 hours a week, you'll be self-made, independent, millionaire in 10 years. And they look at me sometimes bewildered. The fact is that is something that you need to hammer home over a period of time because they've never been told. And me saying it once is not going to penetrate. It'll take ongoing. And that's our theme, that's our purpose. So the first conversation, coffee beans, business owner.
And that's how your podcast started. You brought that same idea into your podcast originally.
Yes. And then we got to look, real estate, there's a huge, tremendous fail rate. And fail it's a tough business. and you keep hearing it from any industry expert or somebody, not experts. Experts sometimes are, they're self-defined
I hear
experts. There's a tremendous fail rate. It's difficult. And then you start to say, well, why is it that, look, next week we have a special, next podcast, I should say, special guest, Maria Vieira, right? She came up through the industry with me a few years after me. And when you ask me, if you ask me about Maria, I'll say, she's got it. Known in the community, you may have heard of her. Mm-hmm. And she came up 6 years after I started. And if you ask me about Maria, I'll say, Jamie, she's got it. She's got it. She's got what?
Yeah.
What is it? So then we're bouncing this around, and we came up with the theme is the pursuit of it. Mm-hmm. What is it? If you asked me what my it was.
What is it, Manny?
My it.
Yes.
It's different for you.
Possibly, most likely.
For me, it was fear.
Okay.
I'm driven by fear. Fear to fail. It's I think it has something to do with my dad's mom, my grandmother on my dad's side. If I came home crying, she would, and she was such a nice lady, but she was a powerful woman. And she taught me to don't learn to lose, don't accept to lose, mm-hmm. whether it be a fist fight with a local bully at the age of 8 or 9, or whether be at school, don't accept that.
Yeah, it was the old school values, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could have embraced my maternal grandmother. She was a sweeter lady, and she would just hug and kiss it and make it go away. So I learned fear is not an option. Look, when I got into this business, I bought my first house at the age of...
But hold on. When you say fear, if you don't mind me interrupting, when you say fear, define fear exactly when it comes to what got you going in the business.
Do you ever see a bumper sticker that says I-O, off to work I go?
Okay.
Not I-ho, it's I-O, off to work I go, make some cash. I quit my job, so I bought a house at the age of 22. I was working down the street at Alcan Aluminum. Close to home, still single. And then I said, Mom, I hate this job, man. Like my brain, and I quit a union job. I had a mortgage, I had benefits, I had a pension. I'm 62 today. I could have been
everything
retired.
that a good Portuguese parent wants for their kids, right?
Steady job. Stability. I had a mortgage.
Yeah.
I had a mortgage. This area here, so I lived in Dovercourt Village with my mom and dad.
So we're not too far away?
Yeah, and the house was up in Mississauga, but this whole, when you say Portuguese, this whole area, the Junction Triangle, before it became cool and sexy and trendy and pricey, it was the Junction Triangle, and it was known notoriously for lead in the water, right? Because you had Alcan Aluminum, Glidden, glue, CIL
Let's
paints.
just say it was a rough side of town.
It was a vibrant community. Yeah. You know what? A lot of jobs, provided a lot of jobs. That's why the Junction was dry, right? Because the guys and the gals, fewer women than men working industrial jobs, they'd go drinking after and spending all their cash and not coming home to their families. Because here, you can grab your lunch pail and go to work at Alcan. I walked to Alcan Aluminum. I cycled to Alcan Aluminum there on Sterling. If you worked at Mallory Batteries on Sterling again, or Perth, you could walk there. So you could live. It was different.
Yeah.
So fear. I had a mortgage. I could not fail. I quit. I asked for a leave of absence. They said no. They gave me a promotion and a pay raise. They said, we don't want you to go, so here's a job promotion, and it comes with a pay raise. I quit anyways. And I couldn't fail, bro. I couldn't.
I mean, you had all the obligations, right? And what are you going to do now?
I
right?
never even thought of that. My mom was horrified. My dad laughed. Mom was horrified because here I am young, and so fear of failure. It literally is, failing was not an option. So that it's fear. It's
So do you feel like you do well in a place of fear? Like if you're put in a spot where you're not comfortable with, there's that yin and yang situation where you don't like it, but at the same time, it's what makes you go. Do you feel like that's your personality?
100%. That's what drives me. Yeah.
Okay.
I went on a sort of a trip to find myself this year. So I did the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation in Cambodia. Then I went to Vietnam, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, blah, blah, blah.
Next time, please, I'll go with you. I'll take some luggage.
No, I did it. I wanted to, it was a challenge.
I'm sure, yeah.
Fear factor. Like traveling with a backpack, 2 pair of shoes, two T-shirts.
Oh, you just went with just a backpack?
After the trek was just backpack.
Oh, wow.
Just backpack. So there's a fear factor. It cannot fail, right? Like I'm not going to, I was afraid, believe me. Like after leaving my mates.
And by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's an experiment in myself, right?
Wow, wow.
And I went up on, I did a few things purposefully. Candida said, Candida works, one of my managers, he said, Manny, do you want to go on a glacier, ascend to, I really didn't know what it entailed. And this is in South Island, New Zealand. An opportunity to go on a helicopter and land on a glacier and walk on a glacier. Majestic, wow. Majestic. My sister defined it as a privilege, as an immigrant to come here and experience that, right? Like, and Candida said, do you want to do it? And I said, why not? But it was a test. Brother, I'm going to tell you, ascending on a helicopter, and you're amongst jagged mountains and deep valleys, right? And the helicopter is the size of a tuna can. And when you ascend beyond the peak, the helicopter turns towards the wind because the wind's going to straighten it out, right? Oof. And there's no need for a seatbelt in a helicopter, you know that, right? There really is no purpose. And I'm telling you this as true as anything that I can say. I had an event coming. So when I came back in the beginning of, I came back at the end of November, beginning of December, I had an ARIA event where I had to co-MC. Mm-hmm. I've never MC'd, right? Like I had to introduce ministers. I had to shake hands with royalty that day.
Oh, wow.
This is me, right? Like I'm a Manny from the hood, right?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Never done it. And it was a room full of industry leaders and business people, and I'm shitting my pants.
So you're just stacking on the pressure there.
Well, the fear, though, so I'll tie it in. The fear was when I was ascending that heli ride, landing on the glacier, not a big deal. It was majestic, but ascending amongst, those jagged mountains and steep valleys, and being tossed around by the wind. And I said to myself, I remember being there in retrospect and said, if I can do this, I can speak in front of anyone. Like that speaking thing is a no thing, right? Like I was gifted with the gift of gab, I think, and all you have to do is keep it clean. Don't drop any F-bombs. And fear drives me, and I did that on purpose. I did it the whole trek to challenge, to test my fears, to if you have to fight your fears. It's a cheesy sort of saying, but I think you confront, and you handle. Some people can't. Maybe I'll never go back in a helicopter. Maybe not. But I can do emceeing now because it tested me. And when I did the first dry run on the emceeing, I was nervous, and I almost forgot to read because you have to read teleprompters and stuff. But so I get challenged by fear. You challenge me to do the whole fear factor. I think it would teach me to do other things, right? If I use it as a launching pad for other things, I don't have any desire to do bungee jumping just for the sake of it. But my mantra last year was a little bit of why not? So Candida says, Manny, do you want to go on a heli and do this and that? And I said, why not? But it was all preparing myself mentally for, so fear is mine.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of people, you know, they grab more, I don't know, more positive words to keep you going. But fear is definitely, it's the first time I hear that one. But I see why you're saying it, because once you get over that hump, once you get over that fear, it's like you're saying, public speaking, it's not easy. People think it's easy because you'll see somebody on stage and you'll go, oh, you know, that's it. He's just talking. I mean, he's just speaking, right? But it's not. I do this for a living. I do podcasting. I'm okay in front of cameras. And when I step in front of like a group of people, it needs to be a big group of people. Smaller groups, I'm okay. But if it's like a room full of people, I get nervous. And my brain is saying, why are you getting nervous? You speak every day. But it's just for those first 2 minutes. That's what I find is like, hang on there for the first 2 minutes and then you'll be fine. So that's been my kind of thing when it comes to fear of speaking in public. But
I'll tell you about fear, Jamie. Look, Rebecca Mountain, she's a Canadian author. She wrote, I don't know the title of the book, but it's the mountain, it's the dragon, the goat and the dragon, or the dragon and the goat. It's about fear and why we're paralyzed. I don't want to misquote her. I've seen her live, and she's come into the office, and I read her book, and it's the amygdala. It's the frontal cortex of our brain that paralyzes us. And you know, dry mouth, heart palpitating, cold sweats. It's neurological. It's not like snap out of it. There's certain remedies for it, like
there are little tricks, I'm guessing.
Breathing.
Yeah.
Nothing replaces experience. And not to say, like, look, next time, if I ever have an opportunity to do MC, I'm not looking for it. Yeah. It's part of my role with Iria. If I have an opportunity to MC, I won't necessarily put up my hand. Exactly. I was voluntold, and my co-host, she was a really good role model for me, because like I think she's one of those, she's a natural. Yeah. But I'm not going to raise my hand to do it again. But it's our brain, and our brain will paralyze us. You know, you have fight and freeze. You always heard, you know, fight, flight, or freeze, and now there's fawn, and there's so many. Like, why do we? You know, you see something that you're afraid of, and you freeze, or you turn tail and run. Yeah. My grandmother said, "Don't come running at me." And it was primarily a bully. There was a freaking bully local. This is back in say it in the Azores. Yeah. Bring me a piece, she would say. Do not be afraid. And so that, to me, that it's fear. I think we're all driven by fear.
I guess you're right. Yeah. When you look back at things, it is one of the at least one of the strongest feelings we can have, that can push us to do things.
Paralyzing.
I know now I'm going to pull us back a little bit to the beginning of the conversation when we were talking about the podcast, because now you decided to do the podcast again because I kind of pushed you a little bit, and I told you we need to do it on video, and you're like, was this a little bit of a fear, doing something like this in video?
Yeah, listen, yeah, for sure. I mean, because you're vulnerable, right? You're exposed. You're exposed. You know, and I had this recently, and I spoke about it in the office yesterday. I said, who am I? Like, what am I doing? So you have that whole imposter
syndrome. Yeah.
Who gives a rat's ass about what I have to say?
Yeah.
I have 4 decades in real estate, going on 39 years in the real estate profession, servicing. I've done a tremendous amount of GCI and ends, and now I own and operate a business, and I coach and mentor. But I have this, like, who wants to hear what he's got to say?
I think everybody does, you know. But you, like you said, you have almost 40 years of experience. If if you keep that imposter syndrome and you don't sit down and you don't put yourself in, uncomfortably in front of these cameras.
I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Yes, you are. Good for you. I guess I did a good job in bringing you in. But, I feel like there's so much knowledge that would be lost at the same time. And it's almost like it's not fair. If the older people, the eldest, if they don't share that wisdom, it's almost not fair. Because I believe we can go back to the beginning of mankind. People used to sit around a campfire,
the elders,
telling stories about what happened, how they got there, what they did. This is just a modern version of the campfire.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's that. I consume a lot of podcasts. I mean, I record a lot of podcasts, but I'm a huge consumer of podcasts. I rarely listen to the radio station. Actually, today I did that. I just wanted to know what was going on in the world. But usually I just hit, a podcast and I listen to it because I truly believe that the knowledge that each one of us has, our own personal knowledge, has value. Not to say that you know more than the next guy or the other guy.
Right.
That's not the point. But none of those guys that we might see as leaders or as, great guys, they don't have your knowledge. They don't have my knowledge.
Right.
We all have something. And if people are listening or watching us, in this case, that are, let's say, wanting to get into the business, and there's like that one little bit that tells them, you know what, that's kind of cool. Interesting.
That's very kind. It's very flattering. I do have knowledge and I do have a lot of experience, and experience that you can't put it in a book. You couldn't put it in an encyclopedia. I mean, it's a long time, both as a salesperson and as
It'll be a lot of pages.
You need a lot. And look, so I did the audio, and then I paused I don't know how many months, because I got that, and I had some really good guests. And I think I came back.
They're going to come back.
I came back because I think the guests, and, the next episode is going to be with Maria Vieira. And in the past, I've had Treb CEO, I've had the head of Royal LePage Shelter Foundation, like a really,
that's great.
Kathleen Black, one of the premier real estate coaches. And I'm fortunate. And if I can provide a platform for these people to come and present their value, and maybe I put in my 2 cents, but it's like who are you? Get out of your fucking way, right? But I'm here now, and I'm okay. I'm glad I'm doing it, and I know there's so much out there, right? Like, people get lost in with all the podcasts and all the experts and all that, and sometimes I think there is value in what I bring, and primarily what my guests can bring, and the world would go on whether or not I do it. I think I have to be careful. There's narcissism where you think, well, I need to share this with the world. I don't think I need to share this with the world, because I didn't invent anything. I'm just repeating what others before me have done. But yeah, I mean, this is a platform today. Like, people use podcasts as a
and I think we're living in an amazing age right now where we can share stories, and I believe so much in sharing stories. I guess that's why I love doing this. I love podcasting and recording and doing some of my own, because I've always, since I was a little kid, I've always loved the storytelling, the learning from the elders, the learning from anybody, really. It doesn't need to be an older person. It can be, I can learn from a 20-year-old. They might have insights about something that I might not know. And I feel like we're living in an era now that we have this opportunity to share, and sometimes we don't, because life is busy and we don't want to do it. But I think if more people did it, there'll be a lot more knowledge out there for whoever wants to listen.
In preparation for this, and you've given me a door, and I'm gonna take it. I want to walk through it. The pursuit of it. So real estate, you have the beginning, the middle, and the end. And the beginning, you come in and you struggle and you start to succeed, and then in the middle, you're shifting gears to a second or a third, and you're building momentum and speed and power, and it takes a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of tenacity to succeed in this business long term. You can be a 1 year, 2 year wonder, but to be in the business, at 2 decades, 3 decades, 4, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot from you. And we're going to talk about the end as well, because the people. So I did some research on NAR, and 30%.
Sorry, what is NAR?
It's good question. National Association of Realtors. It's an
There you go.
American-based organization where you have 1.5 million members. Organized Real Estate in Canada the version would be CREA. It's different. The upper echelons of organized real estate south of the border is different than it is here.
Sorry to interrupt, but sometimes we're so into it that these acronyms that become just normal lingo. Some people out there were like, what is he talking about?
NAR and NRA, not to be confused one for the other. So NAR, 30% of realtors south of the border, members of NAR, National Association of Realtors, are over 65 years of age. And what happens typically with realtors, we fade away. So you mentioned experience and knowledge and campfires and learning from the elders. We're not learning from the elders anymore, Jamie. We're learning from freaking AI.
Yeah.
And AI hallucinates, and it's maybe true, maybe not, I'm not sure. And we have a tremendous amount. It's a huge cohort, and they will eventually fade away.
Yeah.
And their experience, their knowledge, their emotional intelligence goes with them. They don't have any support systems. They don't have any networking. They don't have anything offering. I as a broker owner, we have, and it's something I want to talk about. I'm trying to revive some of these careers because, you let yourself down if you just fade away into the sunset. So you imagine you as a realtor for 30 years, 40 years, thriving and helping people live their dreams in the acquisition or disposition of real estate, and then Jamie just fades away. Not only do you let yourself down, you let your clients down.
Yeah.
Because now there's like, what happened to Jamie? He's not returning his call. Is he dead? Is he alive? What's going on? And that's what's happening. That's what's been happening. And it's not happening now. This isn't a trend. It's been happening since the beginning of organized real estate. Realtors fade away. They won't sell their business. We can sell a coffee shop. We can sell a gas station. We can sell a bakery. We can sell a grocery store. We can sell an insurance business, financial plan. We can sell all that, except nobody sells real estate.
Do you think that comes back to what you said earlier, that most agents start a business, but they don't feel like they're starting a business? They don't see it as a business, and that kind of trickles all the way to the end?
100%.
Okay.
100%. A business owner, true business owner, will, if the business is failing, they'll sell. They'll attempt to sell. And not all businesses are sellable. True. Real estate businesses are. And we actually, I want to talk about this. I'm not going to shy away from it. We have a proven, systematic approach to bring somebody who wants to wean him or herself out with somebody who wants to grow and build their database in their business. It's proven. It's in writing. It's not theoretic. We actually have three ongoing plans in the office right now. So
okay.
the handoff, the supreme handoff, is we call it. And A, you put money in your pocket. B, you keep your legacy as a veteran. You keep your legacy going. You keep your business going. And you are doing your past clients a favor, because now you're handing it off to somebody else that you trust, therefore they can trust. So yeah, you tie it in. There's no business from beginning to end. We've never been taught to be business owners. Coffee shop owner, well, I'm a business owner.
Instinctively, they'll think about that. But so how does it work when somebody reaches that certain stage in life where they're winding down, and what happens? Do they have to get in touch or try to figure things out? Does another agent come in and try to buy that business? Guide us through what the plan is and how it should be working.
under normal circumstances, right? Like we have one now that they left town. So it was sort of a sudden life change, and I'm leaving town. So we couldn't really plan for that in advance, but it's working. And we implemented it, and it's working. But if, on average, you know eventually you want to get it out of this business, right?
Well, you see it, right? On the closings, you see those numbers come down because they're just relaxing. They probably have achieved a certain status in their life, and they're tired, and they want to just relax.
And by that time, it's too late.
Okay, so this, you're suggesting that should be done with some sort of plan. Like, okay, I see myself at this age, wanting to wind down. What should I do?
Exactly. One of the things we talk about early on is like nobody wants to talk about retirement at the beginning of their career, but it's business planning. And it's something that we're trying to make newcomers, so that whole coffee bean thing, you're a business owner. This is the beginning, this is the middle, and this is what the end can look like, should look like. And you need to start thinking of that before you shift into fourth gear. When you shift into fourth gear or overdrive, do you know how to drive still?
Yeah, I do. That's
when
why
you get into
license.
overdrive, man, it's too late. You've already killed it. You killed it. You killed the momentum. There's no torque. There's no momentum behind you. You're flatlining and going backwards, right? Eventually, you'll just coast to a dead stop. You need to start thinking gear 3 when you're still throttling, when you're still in your prime. You need to put things in motion. It does not, the adoption or the handoff is not, hey, Jamie, here's my business. It takes work. It's a handoff.
Well, there needs to be a fit too, I'm guessing, right? You can't, like, how does that work? Like the process you have right now, you have somebody that wants to start letting go of their business or wants to sell their business. Can anybody buy that business? Or will the person selling be able to choose who to sell it to? Because at the end of the day, that person created relationships, right? Because real estate is about relationships with all of those clients. They also, I hope, want to be careful who to give those relationships to at the same time. So how does that fit? How do you guys work that out?
That's a really good question. And it's a crucial question. You can't just, you can just try things and maybe it works out if you hand it to somebody new to the business and maybe you'll be successful at it. It depends on how much work you want to put into, as if you're the one handing it off, if you're the one that is weaning yourself out of the business, it depends how much work you want to put into it. And then that amount of work that you want to put in or not is contingent on who you will look for. But you need to find somebody who's somewhat like-minded. You need somebody, do you want to do a lot of work? Then you can bring on somebody newer to the business where you're going to be more hands-on. If you're like in this one case, you're leaving town, you don't have a lot of time to be hands-on, so you need somebody with a little more experience or maybe somebody with a good amount of experience. You need to profile your people. Are you dealing with, you have to be sensitive to the database that you have, and is the person coming in going to fit, right? Like, there are multiple factors. It's not one size fits all.
Yeah, every case is a case, I guess.
Every case is a case, and you need to have a conversation, and you need to start planning this. You need to have a conversation. We encourage our agents, come to us. Don't come to us when you're about to leave town.
Yeah.
Don't come to us when you say, oh.
Because it's a process, right? You need to find the right person and you need to see if it fits too, right?
And you have to introduce them.
Yeah.
You have to teach yourself to let go a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have to, everybody has different nuances on how to do this business. I don't expect somebody to come in and do exactly what I do, but if I have ample time to show them what led to my success, maybe I can pass some of these insights or wisdom to him or her. It's not overnight. This is not like you're buying a laundromat where it's, you just come in, you exchange keys and a check, and it's not even that. It's not even necessarily dollars for keys. It's a effort reward system. And it takes time, and you should be thinking about it gear 3. And I love the gearbox analogy because, if you know first, second, third, fourth, and overdrive, it's what real estate is like. Like you start off and you gain a little momentum, and then all of a sudden you shift it into second gear. So now you're killing it, right? And then you hit third gear, and the front wheels still lift, and you're still roaring down the track. But fourth gear, there's none of that, and then overdrive is just like gone. It's a system, it's a process, but the first step, the first conversation is the coffee bean. So do you have what it takes to survive this business? Because it's not easy. And 80%, whatever stat you want to use, it's tough. And then when you survive it, what are you leaving behind? Is there a legacy, or you just whisper in the wind?
Yeah, it's the old exit strategy, right? You need to have it somehow.
Most do. If you're a business owner, most people do. You hire a financial planner. You have advisors coming around, tax prep, everything. Realtors, no. Realtors, and it's a shame. I want to make a difference in that regard, and I think there's an opportunity here for people to look within and say, what gear am I on? And how do I want to leave? Yeah. And just let everything that I've done evaporate, or do I want to have something? Whether it be, sometimes you have opportunities where family comes in, and our, next guest is going to speak a little to that, and other times you don't, and you don't know where to turn. I don't want to be the only solution for that, but we have a solution for that.
And aside from being able to put that in place and selling your business, there can still be rewards for that person. I believe you spoke to a little bit about that the last time we were off camera.
For the seasoned veteran.
Exactly, yeah.
But if our stats, I don't know what the stats with OREA. OREA right now has over 90,000 members. OREA is Ontario Real Estate Association. I put a proposal in front of the executive committee and our board. It's gaining some traction, and I think people are of the opinion that there's something to it. If our stats here reflect what the stats in the States are, and I'm sure that there's a mirror, we have 1/3, 1 in 3 realtors over 65. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot. So there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of insights. So we're looking at mentorship programs. Look, I have a name for it, and it's ESPN. I don't know if we can use it, but it's Experienced Seasoned Professionals Network. And if ESPN wants to take it from us, go ahead. I wonder if they registered the trademark.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
But whatever, maybe ChatGPT can help us with whatever. There's a lot of new people coming into the business, but luckily we have a lot of people at the tail end who are willing to share their experience, their insights, and hindsights. Listen, you can learn from somebody like me, not just how to do it, but maybe what not to do.
Exactly.
I've missed gears in my life. I've missed gears.
Well, it's the old question, what would you change if you can go back, right? So being able to say all of those things, and whoever wants to listen can go, oh, you know what? Manny said he did this and it did not work out for him, so let me jump that and go on to the next thing, right?
My kids would say, Dad, I have to learn, on my own. It's okay, honey.
Yeah, that's very poetic.
Go scrape your knees if you want.
It's very poetic, but
I think if you're new to the business, find a mentor. Seek somebody, because be humble. Mm-hmm. I think humility is lacking.
Big time.
Yeah, and be humble, approach somebody. In this business, you have a business card that says salesperson or broker. You don't have any swagger. You shouldn't have any swagger, right? I used to, I had a hockey team, a beer league hockey team, and I was the organizer, facilitator, and quasi-coach, and I collected the money. So I was just, it was just a pain in the ass for me at the time. But I had some guys that were pretty good, right? and they would swap socks, right? So these dudes come into the dressing room,
Oof.
and if one had a pair of blue socks, and the other one had red, they'd swap socks. So one would be wearing red on the left leg, and the other guy would be wearing the same red on the right leg, and the blues would be the opposite. I said, I'm like, if you can't score any fucking goals, man, don't do that shit. Like, don't be like swagger. If you don't sell, if you can't sell, if you haven't sold, be humble.
Yeah.
Just tone it down a little bit. But know that there's a lot of people out there that have the experience and the knowledge, the hindsights, and lessons learned already, and how to and how not to, what not to.
Now that you were saying that, like, a question came up to my mind. Like, what do you see nowadays to the new people coming into the business? And this doesn't need to mean that it's a younger, like, just coming into the business. You can be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, and you choose to come in. What is the most common thing you see nowadays in that type of agent, that, like, the mistake, I guess what I'm trying to get is that the preconceived concepts that they have about real estate that is completely wrong?
Oh, that it's easy. I mean, they see...
That it's easy?
Yeah, that it's easy.
Oh, okay.
Listen, why else? Look, you have an industry, if the stat is 80% fail, right? A lot of new people coming in, but there's a lot of old people going. And
Opportunities are still going to be there.
yeah, but we have an industry that we fail at an 80% rate.
That's insane.
It's insane. Some would argue with me that it's 90-10. Like,
Wow.
to make a good living here, good living, you know, you got to sell. I mean, if you look at TREP stats, I think we had over 40,000 realtors last year that had 0 sales.
Is it like 1% of the real estate agents are the ones that are selling the most amount? Is that kind of like more or less?
The elite. Like, if you're looking at top 5%, are doing 95% of the sales.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's a hard business.
There's not another, like, I can't think of another field that has numbers like that.
I mean, hockey players or professional hockey players.
Okay,
golf,
yeah, if
whatever.
you go into sports,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
The
Okay.
success rate, it's hard ass, man. It's not like I want to keep it real here. This is not, you know, oh, just go out and get your license.
Open the doors, right?
Yeah,
And then open the doors.
Institutional misrepresentation. I don't want to say like, oh, you'll be great. And I did it. I survived the 90s, tough times. For me to say, Jamie, you come on and you're going to be great. I did it, you did it. That's narcissistic. I don't want to get into that. First mistake, people come in, don't treat it as a business, right? But it's not necessarily the new registrant's fault. Remember, they've never been told. RICO doesn't have anything that tells these people that they're business people. RICO fails at that, and I think it's incumbent upon the broker owners to tell them, Jamie, you're a real estate agent, but more importantly, you're a business owner. Treat yourself as such. Mistake number 2, productive procrastination. My favorite term. Ask me what it is.
What is it?
Great question. I'm glad you asked. Productive procrastination. So it's funny. My daughter, when she joined, like she has a business degree and a marketing degree,
Nice.
and she came in and she was spending an inordinate amount of time creating business cards. And Royal LePage has been around for 100+ years, and Royal LePage Supreme, we've been around 3.5 decades, and we have templates for everything. All you have to do is just give me your name, and we register it, and we just print the cards that we
Yeah.
already have. No, Dad. And I'm just picking on my daughter because I don't want to bring anybody else into it. My daughter will forgive me, others may not.
We shall see.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. And we laugh about it today. And she was doing that to avoid doing the hard things.
Yeah.
Mistake number 3.
So keeping yourself busy on the things that don't really matter.
A distraction.
Okay.
Productive procrastination. You look like you're
Interesting.
doing something, but you're actively engaged in procrastinating. You are avoiding the things that are going to get you money and sales and leads. We have one goal as a realtor: prospecting, connecting with people, meeting people. John Vieira, R.I.P. John, he was my first broker, and he said, Manny, just 3 Call 3 people a day. 3 people that you haven't met, like, so complete strangers.
New people, yeah.
Sounds easy.
That's 15 people Monday to Friday.
Sounds easy. And then you call them, and then you got to follow up. I mean, it's a different topic. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
I love podcasts because of this. Conversations bring other conversations.
The rabbit hole, but our goal is to generate leads, prospect, to meet people. So the productive procrastination, if you go home and you say, well, what'd you do today, honey? Well, I worked on my business cards. And look, you're deceiving yourself. You're lying to yourself. You're not going to make any money that way. But if you go home and you say, look, I called 10 people today, at least you feel that you're on the right track. And you didn't get it. Look, you're not going to get results by calling 10 people today, but if you call 10 today, 10 tomorrow, 10 the day after,
something will happen.
You're building a database, and then you start following up, it will happen.
Yep.
You're not going to get the perfect ab or six-pack if you just sit around doing nothing. You know, to use the car analogy, you're not going to go anywhere if you don't have fuel in the tank. And our fuel is work, and our work is prospecting. Our work isn't selling real estate. Our work is prospecting. When you're selling and negotiating offers, you're performing.
Mm-hmm.
A ballerina. Soccer. You're a soccer fan?
A little bit.
Football. Team loses, go back to the drawing board. We got work to do tomorrow, right? Like, we were going to work on our face-offs, work on our fixed set plays. We're going to work, so we can play Sunday.
Yeah.
We perform at the negotiating table. We work. Our work is lead gen. So productive procrastination is an art form, man. Oh, everybody, like, it seems it's contagious. I was in the office today before coming in, and I was talking to, and I asked the question because I know. What are you doing? Working on a business plan. What are you doing? Working on my marketing. No, you don't need a business plan to sell a house or type an offer. We can type the offer for you. All you need to do is find somebody.
Yeah.
And I understand it's the fear. And when I dig deep a little bit, some retreat, some take a step forward because they want to, you have to face that fear. You have to face the fear of prospecting.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, the prospecting part, being able to grab your phone and call someone out of the blue, it's not something that is comfortable. But like anything in life, honestly, after you've done it a few times, then it just becomes...
It's like that helicopter ride.
Yeah, it just becomes natural. And once it becomes natural, then it becomes, I'm putting air quotes here, easier to do. Because, you know, you don't get stuck with the details. It's like, even in my business, I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't spend time anymore convincing people. If I'm selling an idea, I'm not going to convince of the idea. The idea is there. If the person understands the idea and buys into it or likes it, then the sale was done.
Right.
If I have to stay there and spend 3 times the normal amount of time convincing the person, if I'm convincing them, their mind isn't that way. It's the other way. It's the opposite way. It's never going to lead to anything. So lately, I will try to explain once, and if I see that the client is going completely the opposite way, I respectfully just keep going to the next one, because I don't feel like it's just a waste of time.
So you said recently, but you weren't always like that.
No.
So you know what you're doing. You're like my buddies or my hockey team. They were switching socks. You're switching socks now. You're playing with a little bit of swagger because you can score some goals now, and you have a momentum in the business.
But I'm humble enough to know that swagger's not gonna, it's not gonna give me the end result all the time.
Right. It's not going to sustain it.
Yeah.
It's a fine line.
It is a very fine line, and you learn this with time. Like, I've been in business now for 22 years. If you ask me in the Jamie of the first years, I would get upset at my clients because what do they know? I'm the designer, and they don't know anything. And it's like, you learn. It's time. Time takes you there. And I feel like, you know, real estate is the exact same thing. I'm pretty sure that if I was talking to Manny back in the 90s, it was a different Manny.
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah.
was Manny in the 90s? Let's peek a little bit to the 90s.
The 90s was a tough time, man. 90s, I have, I'm looking at that poster of
Yeah,
me.
I'll put it up. It's
Yeah.
over there. I'll put it up on
So
the
that
screen.
says, and I'll translate, serving the community, the Portuguese-speaking community, buying and selling property for over 15 years. So
And that was when.
I started in 87, so you do some
So
math.
okay.
So that's
I'm
92.
terrible.
92. 92, I was half the age that I am today. In 1992. No, Jesus, I wasn't even 30. So I was a different person. Look, I tell my kids this. When you're 30, you think you know it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually spoke about this in my Brittany's wedding speech when they asked me to say a few things. And I said, it's when you're 35, and she was 30 at the time, when you're 35, and 35 will come quick, your growth, evolution as a human being will be exponential. When I was 30, 35, I thought I was on top of the world. I remember telling my dad, hey, Pops, look, I was making a good living. The 90s were tough. You learn, again, hindsights, you learn what works, what doesn't work. You learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And we struck out. We swang more than we missed in the 90s. It was tough. And I remember telling, hey, Pops, I'm 30. I think now I know. And I had two kids already at the age of 30. At 35, I remember going back to him and say, remember 5 years ago? I was such a fool. And he didn't live long enough for me to tell him at 45 and 50, but at 45, Jamie, I could still take on Manny at 30, physically, mentally, emotionally, but I was immature.
Mm.
So Manny, I did well, I survived, raised a family, but I was what a 30-year-old is. I worked through fear. I worked in fear. I worked in a recession, and
Yeah.
I'd go to work every day. And I didn't working from home is an oxymoron. That's all I got to say. I'd leave and come in and prospect every single day. And I saw a lot of people leaving the industry, a lot of realtors.
I think the simple fact of getting up, taking a shower, putting your dress clothes on, and leaving the house makes it a better day. If you just get out of bed, you don't need to take a shower if you don't want to, because you're going to stay home.
No.
And you don't even need to change clothes. When did your day start?
9 o'clock in the office.
No, but I'm saying if you do the whole like getting up and just wearing your PJs all day, when did your day really start? Where's that difference, right? And I think that's what a lot of people nowadays, I don't know, times are different, and I'm not saying that we're better than no, that's not the point. I'm just saying that certain things don't change. You need to have some sort of discipline. You need to have some sort of vision as to where you are and where you want to go.
Yeah. Goals. Those are goals. Business
Exactly.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, I'm going to pull like a 180 and go back to that conversation. So what does a real estate agent do when he wants to wind down and sell his business? You've got the plan, but we were talking about there's some residuals that probably might happen here. Like,
You want to talk money?
yeah, money. Let's talk money.
Of course you
I
got
think
money.
people
Listen.
want to know about that.
Look, yeah, you can approach somebody. I won't advocate for this. You can approach somebody and say, look, I'll give you X amount for your business. But
And that's it.
what's in it? Like, the person selling the business doesn't have any skin in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sell the business and you're off.
Some people might want to do that.
Fine.
Yeah.
I don't really advocate for that.
And
This plan talks about residuals, and you can leave residuals for even after you die if you contract it properly. So Manny's leaving the business, moving out of town, and Manny is going to sell it to Jamie on a residual basis. So Manny has some skin in the game.
Okay.
If Manny wants to get the residual, Manny has to put forth some effort. It's not a cash transaction. And I really don't want to get into all the financials here because it's distasteful and I don't want to offend anyone that's done it differently. But these are systems that they're written, they're proven, they're successful, they're systematic. It's not guesswork, it's not, and the numbers, my number could be different than somebody else's number, but the numbers will vary slightly in percentage. It can be, you can be front-end loaded like a car lease, back-end loaded, front-end loaded. You can run it for 10 years. You can run it in perpetuity, right? There's no end to it, and you can customize it.
And is this like a negotiation that you can have with the older agent and who's
100%.
buying? Okay.
100%. How much do you want to do on your way out? How far along are you on your retirement already? There's so many different elements and factors that play into
Yeah,
it.
because I'm thinking like some agents might have like an enormous amount of clients, right? Others might have really a small group, but really good clients. So that will play definitely. It's
Every
different
case
for
is
every
a case.
Yeah, every case.
And
is
to
a
get
case,
into specifics, there is no. The three that we have are all different, and they're ongoing now, and they're all different. And the amount of effort by the donor and the adopt and the adoptee, the retiree, they're all, the amount of effort on each case is different. The compensation is going to vary a little bit. But again, you could, if you're retiring and you plan it right, you do a good job, and you have an expansive database, your grandchildren can be making money if you scope it right.
Okay,
And
so
it's
you can
trackable.
actually put that in. Oh, okay. So,
Why not? This is like me going up on the heli at 8,000 feet. Why
Yeah.
not? You can.
So you can backtrack all the deals, obviously, right?
We can track everything digitally.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's shocking. People don't talk about it. It's somewhat disappointing that the legacy goes with you. Everything goes with you. And I've been 38 years. This is what I see, and this is it's a pet peeve, right? I think it's unfortunate. And you have a
course.
wealth of new kids wanting experience. You have 1 in 3 realtors are 65 plus. Just
That's a huge opportunity out there at the same time. If you have a business mindset, that's pretty interesting to take a look at.
coffee beans in real estate, brother. Business mindset. How you start, how do you sustain it, and how you finish. We have it. I came back for this morning. I got up this morning and I actually did a podcast. I listened to a couple. One was Kathleen Black and the other one was David Greenspan. So how do these people do this, right? And Greenspan doesn't. There's no video, it's just audio. He's a real estate coach.
He still hasn't met me.
Maybe that's what he needs. We'll make the intro. And I was debating what am I going to do? Like, really, Jamie? I was like, what am I doing? I wasn't going to bail, but it was like, what am I doing? Like Manny, just
Listen,
humble up.
the way I see it, at the end of the day, if nothing else works out, at least you had good conversations with people.
And with you.
Yeah.
Look, my heart rate's at 71. That's pretty damn good.
Okay, that's
not
it.
bad.
That's it. That's all we need.
Anyways, listen, there's so much, and I just hope that people tune in. And if you pick up a little, my gift to, if you want to call it that, organized real estate, I think, as you said, there is some value in experience. I don't want to dismiss it. I don't want to come here and reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already been invented. If I can share something and bring some guests on that can provide some insights, help somebody with something they're stuck on, make somebody smile, somebody laugh. Hopefully we're not making anybody cry. But I know we're going to have a good list of guests. If not for me, tune in. You're going to do a great job putting all this.
I'll try my best.
All this stuff together. We have no doubt.
No, but I think like even going back to this conversation of the selling your business and all that, I honestly feel, and this is kind of like food for thought for you, is I think it would be an interesting podcast for you to have someone here, not myself, but someone that can, understands the business a little bit more, to actually go through an example of one of those processes of, just to kind of showcase numbers. I think from an outside perspective, when you start seeing the numbers, sometimes things make more sense. as to what Manny's saying is a good idea. I should look into it. Let me call him up, present him what's going on with my life,
the
and
actual
see.
plan.
Yeah. But sometimes seeing somebody else, it could be fictitious. It doesn't need to even be. But the numbers, if the numbers are there and you can go through the numbers, I think it'll be interesting for somebody that's probably thinking about it, to look at that and say, huh.
I'm thinking as you're bringing this up, I certainly can ask one or two of the people that are going through it.
That's even better,
to be fictitious, then I'm just pulling stuff out of my arse.
Well,
right?
I'm saying this because not everybody wants to,
If we can get the real,
talk about all the details.
I can have the conversation with two of the three.
Okay, that's better.
The numbers are the component that is confidential.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're okay with it, all I can do is ask and present.
I think that would be very interesting. I'm curious about it too.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask and then I'll share with you. And if people tune in, then we'll see it. We'll announce it.
Well, we can ask the people watching to comment below if that's something that they would like.
Okay, well that's why you're the producer making the big bucks. I'd be happy to bring the people on, and I don't. It's not uber confidential. I'm seeing it. Can you share on the screen? Can you share?
Yeah.
We can have slides and stuff.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we can do everything.
All right, let me get to work.
We can use
on it.
AI, make you dance if you want. I don't know.
AI is great. Listen, AI is great, but don't forget EI, emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
What I'm selling here, ladies and gentlemen, is not AI. AI hallucinates. What I'm selling here is that you have 1 in 3 realtors south of the border with NAR, National Association of Realtors. They have emotional intelligence.
Well, that's
they're,
reality.
They're screaming to download it on somebody if somebody would pave the path for them.
Yeah.
And I want to pave it for them. I want to facilitate it. This is
awesome.
my next gear. I think I'm purposefully, together with the rest of the management team at the brokerage, working on this. I think it's a shame. I've seen a lot of friends leave the business and they just down to nothing, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And nobody's given me a good reason for it. Nobody's actually said, Manny, I don't want to do it anymore because, or I don't want to do this. Like I haven't been disengaged in this program. I've always seen it done or undone, but now I'm engaged, and it's systematic, and we're working collectively as a brokerage to do this. But I haven't heard any of the people that have weaned themselves out of the business. Nobody's given me a good reason why they don't want this.
Exactly.
The excuses, oh, yeah, whatever.
Probably because of what you said right in the beginning. Nobody's ever...
Back to the coffee bean
Yeah,
conversation. The
nobody's
business
ever
mindset.
said this. Yeah. Anyways, all right. This is great. Okay, don't forget to, I'm going to look at that camera. Don't forget to subscribe, to share this with your friends, be it real estate agents or not. It's always good conversation. So.
Yeah, and it's good feedback. And, you know, we have, I'm not sure if we're going to have a link for the previous podcast.
Yeah. We're gonna link them together. Yeah.
Some really good,
somehow.
Giving Jamie some work. Really some good guests, like industry leaders. And, you know, myself and Jamie aside, we want to bring people industry related, and we're going to stay in context, we're going to stay with organized real estate in some way or other, in some capacity, but hopefully bring value. And it's a big economic engine, real estate in Ontario. Realtors, better or worse, we work through COVID. We are an essential service. We've proven that we are essential, and a tremendous economic factor. And I just, you know, if we can bring people, industry leaders in and have these conversations, it's fun. Hey, listen, I had fun today.
All right.
It was good.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thank you.
So we just wrapped up recording another podcast, and we're talking about the Supreme Handoff and what is it. My experience in almost 4 decades in real estate, organized real estate, is that realtors don't often treat our business as a business. And when we are winding down our business or our careers, we just walk away from it all. And I think that's unfortunate. We have a plan. It's called the Supreme Handoff. It's something that you implement, you monitor, you track, and you make money off of it. You carry on the legacy that you built. And just as importantly, we honor the clients and the relationships that we built and fostered over 10, 15, 20, 30, in my case, 40 years. The clients almost expect us to hand it off, and often we don't. Most often we don't. So if you want to get more information on this program, contact us at the office. We'll be discreet, we'll be confidential, and have a conversation. How do I transfer this? How do I carry on my legacy in my business onto someone else and honor and respect the relationships that I built, and I can make some money off of it and go on a perpetual vacation? For more information, give us a call. It will be discreet and confidential. Call myself at the office, 416-535-8000, or our broker of record, Lucia Macedo. More than happy to have a discussion with you in all strict confidence.